You are watching the Experimental as Anything Lab Chat series presented by Jemimah Ashley and Shevonne Joyce from the Business Experiment.
Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Lab Chats. As you can see, Chev, I'm not in the lab today. What's going on?
Well, that's a really nice lab, I have to say.
I hands down
Jem, we
think,
lost you for a minute there. You there?
oh, yeah, I'm here. Hands down, this is like my favorite lab I've ever been into. I'm at the Gloucester Park, Gloucester Tree. I don't know where I am. I'm in southwest Western Australia right now, and this behind me is the Gloucester Tree, Chev. So see this tree here, right? People are going to climb this. There's just like holes in the side of it, and I find that interesting because it seems like you might die, and I promise I won't die. I've also got a friend of the show here. I think you might know him actually from before. Do you know this guy?
Oh, hello.
Hey!
So I'm traveling with our lovely MC at the moment, and I'm in Western Australia. So it's a pretty cool lab today, right, Chef?
Yeah, it's beautiful. So are you going to climb the tree, Jem?
Look, let's see. Not terrific on heights, but we're here now.
Can Neil get photographic evidence of that, please?
Neil has just signed to me that it's 61 meters tall, and that scares me a little. But look, we're here, YOLO. So I just want to, obviously I'm on holidays. I'm recording a video. Like, that seems like nuts to people, right? I'm working on holidays, but guess what, guys? Your business doesn't stop.
Yeah, and we've talked about this a lot recently, haven't we? And today we really want to talk about business contingency, like cover the things that people need to be prepared for, but are often unprepared for in business. And I guess what we've learned and any tips we have, right?
Absolutely. So the first thing I want to point out, Chev, is that I am on holidays, and guess what? My business hasn't stopped. I have had probably 30 emails this morning, and it's like 10:30 here in Perth, and it's beautiful. And I just want to point out Neil is skipping down a path over there, which I find hilarious. So, you know, it
I
hasn't
want to not move your camera, Jem, because the connection is not very good. So it might make people a little seasick.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. Love you all. So yeah, that's the first thing. Like, business hasn't stopped, and we've still got to record videos, and so we still have to do podcasts, and we still have interviews to do, and we've still had a bunch of things going on, and so it hasn't stopped. That's been probably one of the best and worst things about it, because, you know, as you guys know, I love my job, right? We both do. We're obsessed with it, but it still means things still have to get done.
So what kind of things, Jem, have happened to you in your business? Like, obviously with holidays, you can plan that a little bit, right?
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
kind of things have happened to you so far in your businesses that perhaps weren't planned?
I did not plan not to have reception for, 5, 6, 7 hours at a time. There's a big one. I didn't expect that I wouldn't have reception only a couple of kilometres out of a big town to record a lab chat video with you today, now that I've got some pretty unstable connection. But, life goes on. So let's be real about it. Like, sometimes technology is going to work against us. Technology is fantastic for when you're trying to get things done, as long as it works. When it doesn't work, that's when we have the problem.
What other things? Because I know I actually already know this. But I want you to share with the experimenters, like, what other kinds of things have happened to you in your business which were unforeseen and you had no contingency for?
So many, just give the example, Chev. Come on. So many things have gone wrong.
What about, so when you started your business, there was a massive storm, a massive hailstorm.
Yeah.
Destroyed your car, and obviously you need your car. So just to give some context for people watching this, one of Jemimah's businesses is a jewelry business, a bespoke jewelry design business, and she sells jewelry online, but also sells it at markets. And so you need a specific car to be able to fit all of your stands, all of your market paraphernalia into the car, so that you can actually go and set up at each market.
Yeah.
What happened when you went out in business, Jemimah? There was a massive storm and it totally destroyed your
Hailstorm and it
car.
totaled my car. Yeah, my car got totaled in about a matter of like 2 or 3 minutes. My car was completely destroyed, including on the mirrors and the glass and everything. So that was a disaster. And it broke my car off. And my car, a new car was going to cost me $40,000, and I didn't have that. So I was like, hey, bank, you want to give me a loan? And they're like, well, that's hilarious. You don't have a job, because I just started my business. So, what do you do then, Chev? Like, what's the plan? And, we've talked about this a little bit at length more in the podcast and on videos, but you need to have a plan, an emergency fund. Someone said once that you only need if you're starting a business, 3 months of money to get you through. I call rubbish, absolute rubbish. You need like 6 months to a year's worth of salary for that. My computer died as well. Also a really, really expensive, um, a really, really expensive, um, a really, really expensive activity for me to complete. So it's really, really difficult.
Yeah, exactly. And also things like, I moved into state recently and then got to my new house only to discover there was hail damage in the roof so we couldn't move in. So
Weather's basically ruined our businesses, hasn't it?
yeah,
We're drowning by the gods.
it's been an event. But I mean, there's other types of unforeseen disasters that can happen. Obviously, there's natural disasters, and you touched on technological disasters as well, Jem. And I heard about a lady in our network who there was actually a massive what the bleep with her app. I think it was something to do with Amazon. I don't really know how that all works, but her app stopped working, and that's her whole business. So there's all sorts of different things that can actually happen that you don't expect that can interrupt your business. And so that's why it's really important for you to sit down and plan and have some idea or some strategy around, what are some things that might happen. You can't plan for everything, obviously, but what are some things that might happen? And if they do, how are you going to keep business going as usual?
Shevonne, I think it's really important to also, when you do these things, to have a bit of a think about the things that you can and can't actually get past and buy with. So, for example, a car for me, really, really difficult for the social media element that I'm doing now with Epic Social. Not having a car is not a big deal. What is a massive deal is not having a vehicle for a market. The other thing is that there are a lot of preventative things that you can do as well. I know we just touched on tech issues, but I mean, you can engage with tech people for a very minimal cost to have them help you out in your business every now and again. I think, a retainer is probably something about $50 to $100 a month if you want to have IT support. But I mean, things like ransomware, we've just seen a massive attack of ransomware all over the world. And it's hit public service here in Australia particularly. So we've had this massive issue. So if we can stop doing that, if we can actually start to put in preventative measures rather than reactive ones, I think are probably a really good idea as well.
Yeah, and there's also stuff like, there's obviously been a lot of terrorist events around the world as well of recent times. So, the world is changing and it's just really important to be prepared for that. So you've mentioned a couple of things there in terms of, ensuring you have IT support. What other things would you recommend that people consider about implementing in their business?
I'd also strongly recommend having a support team around you to help you out with things. So, for example, at the moment, me being off site, not being able to work, my partner's been very, very helpful with doing things like fulfilling orders. I've had people that I've spoken to, mentors and things like that, who I sort of said, I'm not going to take my laptop on the road. And my mentor said to me, listen, that's fine that you don't think you're going to need it, but what if a client has a crisis? So it's just kind of, making sure that you have people around you who are I'm going to kick your butt because we've made the mistakes ahead of you. Listen to the people who have made the mistakes, and we've been there. Share of goodness, have we been there? But we also have the people who we also need to start thinking about the longer term picture rather than just the short term reactive one. So, I would be chatting to an insurance broker, definitely, for example, like sickness, illness, injury, income protection. This is a really huge thing, especially being entrepreneurs. We don't have the fallback of having a department or a government department or a business to come and help support us. And some of us don't have family members or partners that can also assist us. So I think that's something that we should also really, really look into as a contingency.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also other things which are really kind of simple things, but important to think about as well. You know, things like making sure you mentioned not being reactive, but you know, making sure, for example, if your business is online, if you do a business like ours where we're recording podcasts or you're recording videos or you have content that needs to go out regularly, that you do that in advance, that you schedule your social media in advance, that you get someone who can help you to do all that sort of thing, that you back up your files. Like, remember that time your computer died and mine also died?
And we recorded a podcast and lost it. Yeah, see, we've made the mistakes, guys. Learn from us. Yeah, Chev, I mean, this is why we're recording a lab chat while I'm sitting under a tree, is because maybe we didn't think about it. About, oh, goodness, we need to release this tomorrow. We haven't done one yet. So, this sort of stuff, like, plan with your business people as well. Having said that, like, we want to document what we're really doing. I'm on holidays right now. You rang me before and you're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm having breakfast. You're like, it's lunchtime? It's not on the West Coast. Just so you know.
That was kind of a hint to you, Jemimah, that you need to plan in advance.
To be.
It's real. Jemimah's being attacked by a bee while we're recording our lab chat.
Just all I got was I've got Neil's holding the camera for me now. It's just bee, and he's like, "There's a bee." I was like, "What?" So, yeah.
That's hilarious. Great example of a necessary business contingency. What happens if the wildlife attacks you while you're recording?
I think this is important. I think we should discuss this. What should you do if a bee bites you, stings you? They don't bite, they sting. They hurt.
Seek medical attention.
Yeah, immediately.
But that actually brings us to a good point, Jem, around thinking about procedures as well, emergency procedures or just general business procedures. Like, think about some people think about the event itself, but also think about what types of things can lead on from the event that can also be a disaster as well. Like, sometimes you can have that ripple effect, right? So
absolutely. Well,
dies, you might end up with 8,000 emails, and how are you going to respond to all of those people? All of that sort of thing. What's your process going to be? It's really important to map that out in the beginning.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that, Chev. And I also think, like, we underestimate, the impacts of little things that happen in our lives, which can take tolls on us from a mental health and welfare point of view as well. So just a reminder again, self-care is never selfish. So if you need to take time out to deal with something that's happened, you need to do that. Hence, going to climb a very 51-meter tree. 61-meter tree. I'm failing at remembering stuff right now. We were doing a Facebook Live for those who are like following me on my Facebook page. We did a Facebook Live last night. We stayed at this really dodgy, it was the old cinema, and then they've converted it into like this hotel thing. I don't want to speak badly about What If, but mate, I've got some questions for you. Because we got there was no one else there, like not even caretakers. It was just like a key stuck to the door, like, here you go, Ms. Ashley, thanks. It was an event, and it had all these photos of all the famous people that had stayed in the room, and I couldn't pronounce anyone's name during the middle of a Facebook Live. So I'm sort of failing at this remembering thing right now. My brain shut down on holidays. I also haven't got any hair. I haven't done my hair.
We've lost you there. We've lost sound.
Hello?
No, we've completely lost sound.
I can hear you. That's good.
Okay, it's back.
Keep talking. Okay, I missed you. Sorry, I've also got no hair and makeup done, so welcome to holidays.
Okay, so I think let's summarize what we've kind of said today. So first thing is, have a financial contingency. When you're planning to go out in business, and even when you are in business and you're managing your finances, make sure you include some kind of contingency buffer for the unexpected things that might happen. We spoke about insurances, making sure you have the appropriate insurances in place. We spoke about mapping out appropriate processes and thinking about the ripple effect of different unexpected events and what you might actually have to do as a result of those events. And also something else is, how are you going to communicate to your customers about what's happening, about how it's impacting them, and about what they can expect from you. Because remembering that customers will be looking to you for certainty. So if for, if something horrific happens where your online business is hacked, for example, and people's data is exposed or something really awful like that, how are you actually going to manage it? What are you legally required to do? And as a business owner, what are you actually going to do? What are your values on that? How are you going to manage it, and how are you going to communicate that to your customers? That's really important as well, because as we know, a lack of communication in a serious situation like that can lead to absolute chaos, right? If people don't understand what's going on.
Absolutely. And I think the other thing is, from a very practical point of view, on a much less kind of extreme basis, me being away in Perth, I had to contact all of my customers and clients and say, hey guys, I'm actually going to be away in Perth. One, there's now a time difference, so please don't, if you need something, contact me at any time, and I'll get back to you. But please remember, there is now a significant time difference, and that's caused, a few hiccups, but nothing too massive. But also just letting people know that I'm going to be in and out of reception was a big thing. Like, someone left a voicemail, hey, I know you're on holidays. Can you call me back when you get an opportunity? It wasn't urgent, but if it had been urgent, they at least knew where I was, and it wasn't like I just wasn't answering my phone. So I think that that's really important, just to be very, very clear, especially when you're from a business contingency sense, even if you are just going away for a couple of days like I am.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Awesome. Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Jem, before we go? Do you want to give people an update on what's going to be happening?
I've got some news. So I've launched a new business, Epic Social, which is coming out. I've got the logo done up, now figuring this website thing out. It's not fun, Chev. Building websites sucks. And if anyone wants to do that for me, that would be good.
Any great website designers out there, get in touch with Jem, comment below.
We've also got some amazing sponsorship news coming up. So we have the most amazing sponsorship happening, which we can't talk about yet, but can I tell everyone? Oh, come on, this is the game.
We can't announce anything yet, but yes, we have connected with the most amazing partner who will be partnering with us on our podcast. And we're in the process of planning out exactly how that's going to work and organising, planning for the announcement and all that really exciting stuff. But Jem and I, as everyone who's been following us for quite some time will know, that Jem and I have been working really, really hard to find some amazing like-minded partners to join us on this journey in the business reel. And we have managed to secure one. So we're really, really excited. But Jem, you cannot, no hints.
Okay. Fine, whatever. Come on, let's just look. No, okay, all right. All right, but I want to be the person that tells them when it's time.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I'll be good. And I think that's pretty much it from us. We've got some pretty exciting new podcasts coming up. We've got some amazing guests happening. Epic Social launching soon. If I'm looking for people to do a free 30-minute social media review, so if you're interested in that, please get in touch in the comments below. And also, I'll have a chat with you about what I need. Other than that, Chev, I'm about to go and climb a tree. And so I just want to, if I die, I love you, and I leave you, Dave.
Do I get Monroe as well?
Sure. Yeah, money and Dave are one thing. So yeah. And so I gift Dave to you if something goes wrong in the next 20 minutes.
Awesome. Well, make sure Neil gets some photos of this. I want photographic evidence that you've actually climbed the tree.
I think he's going to be climbing probably ahead of me, because I'll be like such a scale. I'll get 7 steps up and be like, I'm out. No, not terrific with heights. Let's see how this goes. But thank you for joining in for another episode of Lab Chats, guys, from the best lab in the world. We love you guys, and we'll be back next week with an awesome podcast.
We will. Bye, guys.